This week on Camera Talk, buddy. Are we going anywhere? Yeah? Where are we going to go? Where do you think we're going to go? Is it Japan? No, it's not Japan. Is it Germany? No, it's not Germany. Is it China? Yes, it's China! See, got you wrong on that. What are we looking at this week? It's an adapter. We've looked at adapters before, but hey, this one's a special adapter because it tilts.
Well, isn't that special?
And it shifts. It's a tilt-shift adapter. And what the heck do you use that for? I know you don't know. Do you guys know?
I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, let's find out together. So grab yourself something to eat or drink, get yourself comfortable.
Legend!
And let's get it on.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right. Dylan and I are back for another episode of Camera Talk. What are we talking about this week, buddy? Anything you remember? What did I say earlier? You don't remember anything? You know, plead the fifth? You know, pull a Donald Trump?
I don't care.
I didn't do anything wrong. I'm fine. I didn't do anything wrong. Well, let's find out what we can get in trouble with this week. And what are we looking at? Just like the intro says, we're looking at a adapter.
You're a doctor.
Adapter, yeah. Now, what does an adapter do? Well, adapters adapt things.
No shit, Sherlock.
Right? And of course, this is an adapter that you mount a lens to, and you adapt.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
It to your camera, whether it's a DSLR or a mirrorless or whatever you have. But this particular one, because I just have one, this is an M42, which is a screw mount adapter, and it adapts to my EOS M camera. What is that? Well, EOS M is a camera that's actually being phased out by Canon, because Canon would rather you have spent your hard-earned money on their latest, greatest version of things. That's right, I said version.
You must tie her down on a bed and spank her.
And that is the Canon RF lineup. And anyway, this goes with my Canon M50, which I am recording these Camera Talk videos mostly, unless I need it for demonstration purposes, and then I use my Sony here to record the videos. But for the most part, it's my EOS M. So anyway, I purchased this a couple of years ago because I wanted to, experiment with it and play with it a little, see what tilt shift was all about. And at the time, I was mostly using my Canon M50 because it's light and easy to stick in your pocket, and away you go. So most of my lenses were adapted to that camera. Now again, this is a screw mount, and there's so many lenses out there, especially vintage lenses that are screw mounts, M42s, that you can adapt any of them using this adapter. So what exactly does a tilt shift do?
And now for something completely different.
Well, let me tell you. Actually, first let me shift you over to this side, mister. Yeah, sit on the side over here so everybody can see a different angle of us. All right, tilt, shift. Now what the tilt part of the shift does is it affects the focal plane. Here we got the focal plane, right? what's in, when you're talking about like depth of field type thing. If you've got something very shallow depth of field and you turn your, like as Dylan here is on a 45-degree angle, his left eye, maybe not in focus, but his right eye would be, because it's closer to the focal plane. So that kind of idea. Now what does the shift do? So that's the tilt. The shift affects the image's perspective. Now again, is it what's in focus and what's not? And it could take the entire half of the image and throw it out of focus. And that's because, as you can see, straight up your adapter is flush like this.
Yes.
You're gonna parrot me?
Whatever.
Well, when you turn the actual shift or the tilt, I should say, of the adapter, it changes it off to like a 45-degree angle, and changes the perspective of the image. Now, why the heck would you want to do that?
I see dead people.
Well, for artistic purposes is one, but the other is for, if you're, let's say, taking architectural photographs, and you have this lovely tall building in front of you, and you want to take a photograph of it using a wide-angle lens. If you've ever done so, you would notice that as you're taking the photograph, your building looks like it's going up to a point. It's like a pyramid type thing. It's angling in. Now, if you want your straight edges, you employ a tilt shift lens or adapter, and because of the effects that I just said, you get your focal plane and your image perspective can be altered so that you can actually straighten the building so that it goes straight all the way up. So that's one purpose of it. The other, as I said, is for artistic purposes where, again, I'll show you pictures of who here, and you'll see that half of his face is in focus, the other half isn't, or half of his body is, or from the head up is not, that kind of thing. Aww. Or maybe just his thumb will be in focus. So those are the two reasons why you would want a tilt shift adapter. Now the other reason to go adapter versus lens, of course, is the price tag, right? These things, this one here is made in China by Fujinid. It's like $20. $20 to get that effect I just talked about. Now you can get some a little higher end, brand types that go up to $200 or just over $200. But these $20 ones work pretty good for what you're doing with them.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Now you can get an actual tilt shift lens that's manufactured for that specific purpose. Now those things can be anywhere from $200 as a cheap band, all the way up to $25,000.
Get the fuck out of here.
$25,000, Dylan. Oh my God.
Holy shit.
And that's for, again, a tilt shift lens. Now why are they so expensive? Well, because of the optics, the actual manufacturing of the lens itself, being able to have the adjustments dialed in, and the optics themselves being fancy schmancy and whatnot. So they're not easy to manufacture, so they could be expensive. So what's your average poor guy do? Like us, we get an adapter. So this is pretty much my option in that regard. So as the lens moves, so again, as it's being shifted, one direction or another, that lens is moving, and as it moves, the image plane is moving as well. So the sensor is going to record or capture totally different areas of the total image, and so that's kind of how the science behind it the science behind it works. Yeah. If Daddy could just get his English right, we'd be okay, right?
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
So if you're looking for a full depth of field, a full range, you're out of luck. I mean, these things are not going to be able to capture the entire scene because of that, what I just explained. So, but that's not what you're after. It's not why you would get one of these anyway. If you want to capture the whole scene, then just use a straight up lens and off you go to the races. So anyhow, that's what these things do. Now, as I said, depending on which shift, which direction, the tilt is shifting. Well, the tilt itself and the shift. You can, again, with adjustments, you can tilt this way and this way. So it's up and down and side to side. That's pretty funky, isn't it?
Funky Cold Medina.
To be able to do that. Yeah. So I'll show you some samples of that. So things like Dylan's one eye being in focus versus the other eye. Show you some of those here. Yeah, pretty funky, huh? How about some images where his face may be in focus, but other parts of the scene, whether it's this side or this side, are out of focus, as in they've fallen off the focal plane. So we'll show you those here. And how about some, again, different focuses of both, whether it's the side-to-side background is out of focus or top to bottom, and maybe a focus on a certain body part like your thumb here. Now, using it for portraiture is not all that common, but as I just showed you, it's not impossible either. You can get some interesting artistic effects in that regard. But generally, they're used for outdoor shots, taking overview shots, looking down on traffic, particularly looking at street scenes, neighborhoods and whatnot, and it gives an effect almost like a fantasy land, like a toy land or something, a miniaturized version of something. And we'll show you some of those here. All right, so those are our, again, our random tilt shift. Okay? Yeah, our random tilt shift samples. Now, as I said, the beauty of having an adapter versus the actual lens itself is you get a tilt shift lens. Let's say you get a 20 millimeter or 25 millimeter or 13 millimeter, lens. That's what you're stuck with. That's your focal length. But with an adapter, you could put anything you want as long as you have the adapter for the particular lens. So as I said, for my M42, I could put on my Pentagon 135 2.8. Can look pretty wild, pretty funky. For the ones I just showed you of Dylan, I used Mamiya Secor 55 millimeter 1.8, and I used Carl Zeiss Flectagon 35 millimeter 2.4. But I could use Carl Zeiss, my Biotar 58 millimeter. You know, I could use a number of 50 millimeter, my Takamars, and so on and so forth. I have a lot of M42 screw mounts, so I could use any number of different focal lengths, and each one of those has its own characteristic, which can add to the element of the artistic flair. You know what happens when you get artistic flair, don't you? Yeah.
Deal with it. Okay, and you're welcome.
So anyway, the options are kind of endless, really. So I would recommend, this is again Dr. Scott and Dylan's recommendation, get an adapter. You know, unless you're filthy rich, you can go out and get a bunch of tilt shift lenses, whatever. But for something cool, something a little bit different, what's 20 bucks? You know, 20 bucks, and you toss on one of your vintage lenses, and you've got something pretty interesting anyway to toy with. So with that said, can we recommend getting an adapter? No?
No.
You'd rather they spend $25,000 on an actual tilt shift lens? Huh? Yeah? Yeah. That's good. You're living the lifestyle, man, of the rich and famous.
Scott the Beta King.
I would recommend that you get a tilt shift adapter. It's much more economical, and again, plenty of fun that you can have with that. So with that said, how about we give our little plug for our photo editing software. Who do we use? Luminar AI and Luminar Neo. You know what AI stands for, mister? Yeah, what is it? Yeah, you know, but no, you don't know what it is? Well, guess. Come on, AI. It's only 2 letters, A and I. What could AI stand for? I'll give you to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. No, it's not that. It's artificial intelligence. That's right. Artificial intelligence, ladies and gentlemen. It's becoming quite the thing in the news lately. Well, in the world of photography, it's kind of turning things upside down, because now you don't even need a camera anymore. Just use AI and tell it what you want, and it'll produce a photo for you.
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
Or an image for you. But I prefer to use cameras, you know. I still think it's fun to make my own images. But when I'm editing, my images, AI can be quite helpful in that regard, because we have, let's say you have a dirty sensor. Dirty sensor.
Dirty girl.
Well, spot and dust removal. You just click the button, it analyzes your photo and removes the spots. Only the spots. I mean, if you got birds flying around and whatnot, it won't remove those, it'll just remove the spots. How about power lines? Everybody hates a bunch of power lines, right? What an ugly thing to see in your photo. Same thing, click, click, click. Power line removal. It'll analyze your photo and remove them for you. It's not perfect, of course. You may have to clean up a little bit here and there on the edges, but hey, it saves a lot of brushing and analyzing yourself, right? Scene relighting. If you want to move the light around the scene, that's kind of a funky process, isn't it? How about background removal? It can analyze the background, only keep the subject, and remove the background, just in case you wanted to remove Daddy out of the picture. So you can show your girlfriends how cool you are by yourself on the YouTube channel.
Yes!
And all kinds of other different things too. You can look it up yourself. It's called Luminar, produced by a company named Skylum, who is in Ukraine. So these people are putting up with drone attacks and bombings and everything else going on in Kiev. And they still go on producing their software and updates. Just had an update just the other day, actually. Your updates are free. Once you buy it, it's very economical. So, it's another good reason to get yourself one, to support these people who are putting up with the Putin crowd. Boo, Putin. And, but the other, the best reason for purchasing it is it's yours for life. You buy it, it's very economical. The updates are free and everything else. And you don't like to save some money? If you want to save some money, click below. There's a link in the description below. If you purchase Luminar through our link, you can save $10. So if it's like 80 bucks, say now it's 70 bucks. Or whatever it is today. I haven't bought it in a while, so I don't know the exact price of it these days. But anyway, it's very economical. And of course, if you save that 10 bucks, what do they do with that $10? What do they do with that $10? Well, they give it to us. And why do they give it to us? Well, because we went through the effort to tell everybody about Luminar, right? Everybody knows about Luminar. So those $10 is what they call kickback. Yeah! Kickback. Number one. That means Dylan gets $10. And what does Dylan do with his $10? Do you share it with Daddy? Do you share it with Mommy? What? Do you share it with your girlfriends? Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah. Yeah, baby! Yeah.
You and your girlfriends. So someday you'll have a bank account full of $10 deposits. Rich Dylan. So anyhow, what else can we say? Well, who are we? I'm Dr. Scott. You're Dylan.
My name is Jim, but most people call me Jim.
And together we are Modesty Photography. We're here to talk about tips and tricks about things. And
What? For fuck's sake. What? Still wrong. Wait for what?
tips and tricks about things like what? Obviously photography, right? Vintage lenses, vintage cameras, all kinds of different stuff. See, today we're talking about this. Yeah, treat you like Bart Simpson.
Hey, you little... how can you look me in the eye and lie like that?
And so today we're talking about adapters, right? Not just adapters, but tilt shift adapters. Who talks about that? So anyway, and you can come on back and see Dylan. Dylan always likes when people leave comments for him and everything. So we want people to support our channel too, right? So how about you subscribe? How about this hand? Subscribe. And these, your two, my two is 4. Subscribe. Oh, that's right. What does YouTube like besides subscribers? They like the thumbs up girls, right? So, thumbs up girls will give us a thumbs up. We'll give you a thumbs up with the thumbs up girls. Are you ready? I got the hiccups now. Thumbs up, do 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 do. Thumbs up. Uh-huh. Dylan likes the thumbs up girls, don't you? Well, they're not half bad, I wouldn't say. Anyhow, so other than that, what else can we say?
I'm a fucking artist. I'm sensitive as shit.
Should they come back for more? Why should they come back for more, Dylan?
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Why?
Why?
Why? Because, as I always tell my students in class, you belong here. That's right. And where do they belong, mister? They belong at Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right, and Dylan. So come on back next week. We'll do it all again. Talk about it as something a little different. And, you know, can you thank them for anything? Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for buying a copy of Luminar through our link below. Thank you for just being you. All right, so I think that's all we have for you. So we'll see you again next week. Stay safe out there. Stay shooting. Cameras, that is. And we'll see you in the next video. All right? Ready to say bye-bye?
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Here I am.